Hello and welcome back to 360 Sports, here for our Frenzy show today. I'm Kylie Smith, here with
Massimo Manfra,
Bella Sposato,
and Owen Klein.
We have a lot of headlines, a lot to talk about today, so many different topics, so we're going to jump right in. We're going to start with the MLB winter meetings. They begin Monday the 9th and end Thursday the 12th. One of the biggest people we're talking about is obviously Juan Soto and where he's going to go, and kind of the domino effect of where he decides. What do you guys think?
You know, Soto, I feel like we're almost expecting a decision so soon. I think it will be a little bit later than we expect. I will think it might come even a little bit after the winter meetings, because this is Scott Boras we're talking about. He's not afraid to wait until spring training to make a deal. So, I think that the rumors of him going to the Red Sox possibly and them shelling out a big sum of money to steal him from the Yankees is just Scott Boras playing the field. I mean, the Red Sox aren't really built for it. And what would the Yankees and the Mets do if the Red Sox were in? They would just throw out more money. Because what does Steve Cohen do with a problem? Throw money at it.
Well, I heard a little rumor that Scott Boras talked to Juan Soto, and Juan Soto says he loves being a Yankee, so that's good for us New Yorkers. But honestly, everyone wants him. It's ranging from the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mets, the Dodgers. They're all the teams that are offering him over $600 million. Before that, the Mets were a little less, but apparently they offered $225.5 million, I believe, more dollars to Juan Soto, so they're very hungry for him. Blue Jays also, they want him, but I think he's eliminated some teams like this at this point. And I think it's just going to come down to a fight between the Mets and the Yankees, because I know the Mets are very hungry for someone like Juan Soto. And there is a possibility that Pete Alonso could be traded. So could they get Juan Soto? Maybe. Hope not. But Pete Alonso did not have a good season. Does that mean he's done being a Met? Who knows? But I think they want him to retire as a Met. So there could be a chance they bring him back. But that's not the point. Hopefully he has a better 2025 season. But I think the Yankees are going to spend their last paycheck on Juan Soto. It's going to be like going to an auction between the Yankees and the Mets. I want him, I want him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so, because if you were talking about the Red Sox earlier, they're really going to have to pony up for Soto if they want to get him, because of what happened with Mookie Betts 5 years ago when they shipped him to L.A. And Soto could become the richest player in baseball history, even surpassing that of Shohei Ohtani. It could be around $750 million, and you mentioned that whoever signs him is likely going to be his retiring place. Whoever signs him is going to have to bode well with the fans, because there's pretty much no way out.
That doesn't necessarily have to be true, though. He's still, 25?
Yeah,
he's
26. Yeah,
He's
26
young.
years
That's
old.
if someone signs him a 15-year deal.
That's what it could be, 15 years.
It could be, but
That
I
might
think
be.
it will sit around more closer to 12, which who knows if at that point he's chasing a record and wants to get another contract.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. That's why you have opt-outs and stuff like that. But I'd say if I'm a Mets fan, so I'm fine with signing Juan Soto, but I expect us to go down a different path, because we have talented outfielders in our system coming up, talking about Drew Gilbert. And we also have talented infield players like Jet Williams and Luis Angel Acuna. And I'd like to solidify the rest of the field with guys like Alex Bregman, maybe even a Corbin Burns in the rotation.
do you want to
we
bring
got
back
Corbin Burns.
Do you
The
want to
Yankees
bring back Pete Alonso?
I'd say not. The plan is to sign Bregman and move Mark Vientos to first base. Who knows if
true.
Mark can keep this production up, but with the way he produced last year, he's still very young too, so there's a lot of room to develop him. But as for Soto himself, I don't expect him to be a Yankee. It's an unwritten rule of Scott Boras' clients to go with another team, and who knows, maybe that team is the Mets. We'll just have to wait and see.
But Juan Soto's made so many friends on the Yankees. He has Aaron Judge. It's his duo partner. He can't leave his duo partner.
See, there's that, but also simply the Yankees have to be desperate for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if you lose Juan Soto, Brian Cashman, your job is probably gone.
Everyone's job is gone.
there is no way that the fan base, or I would hope Steinbrenner, would tolerate that if we just were to sit down and give up Juan Soto, even if you bring in the pieces like Christian Walker, like even Alex Bregman, to overhaul the team with the Juan Soto money. No.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work.
I definitely think he's going to stay on the East Coast. I know he wants to be close to home. I think, personally, he'll stay with New York. I think in the end he will end up with the Yankees, honestly. I also think Scott Boras is going to encourage him to take the most money. He always does that. He wants to wait. He wants him to get the most money possible. That's more money coming for him. I mean, he's a young guy, so he's going to be like the highest paid field player. So I think it's going to be a big decision. I think he'll stay in New York.
Juan Soto's home.
All right, moving on, we want to talk about Aaron Rodgers' status with the Jets this season. The next season's unknown, but it is known that he will be a subject of a Netflix docuseries, Aaron Rodgers Enigma. What do you think about this media opportunity and the Jets' future with or without Aaron Rodgers?
I think it's a fitting title.
That may be the way it is, but I don't think it paints a good picture for future football players because you don't want to go down the path that Rodgers does. You want to have a relatively smooth sailing career without any of the drama that he's induced into the Jets organization. But this season, it doesn't help that he's had the worst coach team in football.
I think Aaron Rodgers should just retire now. I think he's past his prime. I think a lot of people say they enjoyed watching him play for the Packers. Yes, he won a Super Bowl. Fantastic, yay. And he was also MVP 2011, 14, 20, and 21. That's before he joined the Jets. So, yeah, he's not in his prime anymore. He's not Tom Brady who could play till the end of his life. Like, he just doesn't have that groove anymore. And now I gotta go off. He acts like he's running the Jets organization. He got Robert Saleh fired. I know they weren't having a great start, but he wasn't that bad. It was because they had a disagreement. They like to kiss his, the word, Aaron Rodgers. And funny enough, Robert joined the Green Bay Packers. Tables have turned, and he's doing well. And again, the Aaron Rodgers show, traded for Devontae Adams, and it's his favorite wide receiver. Favorite wide receiver. I think overall the organization has to come to Rodgers' tactics, even though he's not doing good. Like, yeah, a 3-9 record is something to celebrate, Aaron, of course.
Okay, see, first of all, should retire versus will retire, I don't think he's going to retire.
He's not.
No.
But he's going to be horrible.
I don't think he will be on the Jets next year.
Good.
I mean, I don't know where he will go, but this is also still Aaron Rodgers. Like, we do have to respect the name value and the legacy that he has. And I wouldn't say that he's washed yet because I feel like we could have said that about Russell Wilson a couple of years ago.
He's doing good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
PSA,
But
I'm not a Jets fan.
the Jets have to get serious on if they want to win, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that. They have plenty of pieces that can go into a championship roster. But first of all, they need to get serious in the division to even think about a playoff run. And they haven't done that, but they have the defense to. They have the wide receivers to.
But even then, the defense has declined when Saleh was gone. It's seen in when the cornerbacks talk, for example.
And funny, Green Bay Packers increased when he joined.
Right. I mean, I think the fans were so excited to get him. Everyone was, like, on board with it. He was going to be amazing. He was so good. He's coming back from an injury so fast. And then he just ultimately didn't show up this season. So, like,
What was the point?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back with the Jets
Showed
at
up
all.
more than last
Good.
season.
It's trademark 2022 Denver Broncos vibes, doesn't it?
Right.
A good roster doesn't matter if you have the wrong coaching.
Yeah.
Poor quarterback.
I think he also thinks he's the best. He thinks
Yep.
that he doesn't need to prove himself. So I think that's maybe a slight issue, but nevertheless.
It's the Rodgers enigma.
Yes, exactly.
Facts.
All right. Talking about athletes, maybe one of you chose Aaron Rodgers. Probably not.
Absolutely not.
We're going to
He's
talk
got no
about.
rhythm.
We're going to talk about the Dancing with the Stars draft. As Dancing with the Stars just ended, there were so many athletes competing this season, and 3 of the athletes made it to the final. So we're going to see what everyone thinks, who they would love to see next season, who we think they would do, how they think we would do.
Well, I shall begin with...
I think it's here.
Yes, there we have it. Well, I will begin with presenting Justin Jefferson. You already know about his signature gritty. It's a very popular dance among NFL fans. We've seen other players try this. Looking at you, Kirk Cousins and Mike Gesicki, you're no match for him. Justin Jefferson would be able to provide some elite competition for the best among the stars.
I'm not shocked at that. I mean, I feel like Justin Jefferson, he deserves a dancing competition. I mean, the Dancing with the Star Pro would have to work a gritty in there multiple times throughout the season. I mean, it just gets clicks.
Yeah.
So.
All right, it's my turn. I think this is going to be a very popular take, in my opinion. Okay, so we have Nick Bosa, the defensive end of the 49ers. I might be a little biased because I love watching him and like watching his personality on the field, but I think he's just always dancing on the field. He has so many sacks, he just dances it away, and I think he'll have such good rhythm on the dance floor. I do see him like going into maybe a top 5 season finale. I don't know who he would be partnered with.
I wouldn't go that far.
What?
I
mean,
would
he has so
not
much
go
rhythm.
that far.
With the views, though, they'll
Like-
get a showman's out of him.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, he's great. He's not afraid to show his personality on the field and outside the field. I think that would be really good content for Dancing with the Stars.
Really, really interesting selection you have there.
It's
It's a
certainly
good
something.
selection.
See, but I've got an actual great selection
Okay.
because I have Jared McCain. I mean, it just makes sense. The man is so happy. He is so expressive. If he gets paired with a pro that can let him express himself, he could win it. I think that Jared McCain... Also, think about the behind-the-scenes TikToks. Jared McCain, he'd produce content.
I like that. I definitely like that.
I like
mean,
it.
He's a huge personality, too. Okay. Tough to follow, but I'm also keeping it in Philadelphia, so maybe. I have picked Jason Kelsey.
You did not.
And I mean, I think it'll be really interesting to see it. He's a bigger guy. I think it'll be interesting. We see the tall guys. It'll be interesting to see how he can move. I know the pro, Jenna Johnson, says that she would love to work with him. I mean, we're bringing in the Kelsey family. We're bringing Travis, Taylor Swift. We know everyone's going to love to see it. I think it'll be a huge
Is he going to dance to a Taylor Swift song?
Yeah, he probably
He will.
I don't know. Even aside from that, I honestly think he would be super into it and like super dedicated as he is with everything that he does. I think he would put us all out there. So, Jason Kelsey.
See, Jason
Does he have
Kelsey,
rhythm, though?
great. But also, I feel like
think he could be
I feel like
taught.
Travis Kelsey is more likely. He's such a diva.
I
He
think
would win.
I think he'll be the Harry Jowsey of Dancing with the Stars.
No, don't say that. No, I think he's an athletic man. He can do it. He can figure it out. And I think he'll be a good listener. He'll learn.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but Jared, he might learn. Jared McCain would win. So
That's
fine.
That's your opinion.
Okay. Moving on, we are going to talk about the signing day winners, who we think won college football signing day. So it's has begun, it hasn't ended, so we're going to see where we stand so far.
Well, I know it's like, oh my God, we go here, but I think
Well,
no.
hey, I'm going first now, so you better pay attention to this. Well, to me,
Stay.
I will select the Texas Longhorns as my pick. That has dominated the signing day so far. They signed 4-star corner Cade Phillips and 5-star utility player Michael Terry, the latter over Washington and Oregon. And Terry reminds you a bit of Jatavian Sanders, and who knows if Arch Manning will stay at Texas or if he'll transfer, or maybe even Quinn Ewers if he doesn't declare for the draft. Terry will provide another excellent target for whoever the Longhorns quarterback is in 2025.
in any sense, I can't imagine Quinn Ewers being the starter. I think it will be Arch Manning. if Quinn Ewers does not elect, he will be told to go to the portal. I'm certain of it. It is Arch Manning's time in Texas, and Quinn Ewers has not looked that great this year. I do think that he would still be probably the fourth quarterback off the board, but he's got to go from Texas because a new day is arriving.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Texas had a good day, though. I'll agree with that.
Is it my turn
I think, yeah, Isabella.
now? Okay. My turn. Okay, back what I was saying. I know we go to the school, but I think Penn State took a huge W with this. Lyric Samuel. He is from Brooklyn, so just had to put it out there. He goes to, I forgot how to pronounce this, Urashus Hall. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is ranked top 10 New York high school football players in class of 2025. He's actually ranked number 1 in New York right now. And he's a Dutchman, so he took home the PSAL 4A state title last season, winning 9 straight games after an 0-2 start. He also caught 27 passes for 693 yards and 11 touchdowns and enters the 2024 season as the 20th ranked wideout in the country, according to ESPN. Mouthful. And, of course, Liam Clifford and Harris Wallace III is not going to be here forever, so this guy is just going to bring his A game here. He's joining the Big Ten school, who has such a reputation. Spirit is just out there. He's going to do great things, I believe.
I mean, it's such a well-rounded class for James Franklin. I mean, so many 4-stars. No 5-stars yet. We could have an upgrade. We have the 86th player in the nation in Malachi Goodman. But we have, I believe, 13 4-stars and a couple of really good 3-stars. So another well-rounded class for James Franklin. A bunch of wide receivers who we know we desperately need.
He knows how to recruit.
It's about the only thing he knows how to do.
Yep, I was going to say that.
Also, I feel like we have to mention LeVar Arrington Jr. coming here.
How about it?
Recently updated to a 4-star recruit, 127th player in the nation, and look at what Pop did on the field at Beaver. Anyway, now I'll go with my team, the Auburn Tigers. They have the 6th class in the nation, and it's shocking, I would say. I do not expect Auburn to be that high in the rankings, but they have 2 5-stars, Jared Smith and Malik Autry, both on the D-line, both going to wreak havoc for years to come for Auburn, both top 35 players in the nation, which, wow, Auburn, talk about fighting against Alabama in their own territory. We have the number 1 player in Mississippi and one of the top players in Alabama. Auburn might be coming back.
Who knows if Hugh Freeze will rise to the occasion for once against Alabama. The last 2 times they played at Jordan here, they fell short. First, it was Tank Bigsby getting out of bounds to stop the clock when they didn't want to. And then it was Jalen Milroe somehow converting a 4th and 31 for the touchdown to give Bama the lead.
I agree, but with a quarterback of the future coming in Deuce Knight, 12 4-stars in the class, so 12 4-stars, 2 5-stars, Auburn might be able to turn that page, and Alabama's having the worst season they've had in a while.
And they're somehow in the 12.
Hey, I wouldn't say it's SEC bias. It's more the preseason rankings.
No, it is the SEC bias too. It really is. There is no reason for Miami to not be ahead.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I think those are all good picks. Do I think they had the best signing day? Personally, no. I think Michigan I think they did a really good job. We all know they didn't have a great season. They didn't have a good season at all.
Ohio State.
But exactly, they ended on a high note by beating Ohio State. So it's like they're coming off of something a little bit. I think they got 21 so far of their 23 top recruits that they wanted. They got the number 1 quarterback in the country. So I think they flipped him from LSU. That is
Bryce Underwood.
yeah,
Jr.
Bryce Underwood. So
And they got the Alabama head coach.
yes, exactly. And they have Andrew Babalola, another 5-star recruit. I mean, I think they're gonna do
Very highly recruited too.
Yeah. I think
Everyone wanted Andrew Babalola.
they had a lot of money to work with, I think, and I think they got who they wanted. So I think that's going to be a huge turnaround. Maybe we'll see them back to the team that everyone knows them as, because this year was shocking. Okay.
I hope they don't.
Well, yeah. We're going to move on to our Power 4 predictions. Saturday 4 conference newcomers will play in the Power 4 championships. These teams being Arizona State in the Big 12, Texas in the SEC, SMU in the ACC, and Oregon in the Big 10, as we know. So I want you guys to give me your score predictions for the following games.
Well, for Arizona State against Iowa State, I will predict 27-17 Sun Devils. Cam Scott-Boo has been a huge boon for this Arizona State team. They want to rely on him running the football, and I think he'll have success against this Iowa State defense. But Sam Levitt, he can do a great job of throwing the football too, and I'm a big fan of Kenny Dillingham. He's done a really great job with this program. They were supposed to finish last in the Big 12 at the start of the year, and look how the tables have turned.
You know, I feel like this Arizona State offense is a bit more high-powered than that. I do think that they will probably score 35 points in this game. Jordan Tyson is always open. Cam Scatterboo always gets the ball. I have not seen him tackled for a loss this season, I don't think. And that's why they have been so good. And they beat BYU, who for the entire season almost, we thought were going to be in the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
They were. No, they're not.
And I think Arizona State deserves the spot in the CFP. And then also, what a big championship for the Arizona State program. I mean, so much recruiting is going to happen for Dillingham.
Yeah.
However, I feel bad for whoever will win this game because there's a likely chance that they'll get routed in the first round college football playoff game.
I will say there will be plenty of teams hoping to face the winner of this game.
Honestly, I choose Arizona State because I know they're just right there below the 12. A lot of teams would have to lose for Arizona to be in there. But I said a 36-30 because I know they're right next to each other, 15 and 16. So it might be a close game. It might not be. It's a 50-50. But Arizona State is pretty good. I do know they deserve to be up there instead of Alabama.
Right. I also had Arizona State winning, a little bit of a lower scored game. I have 27-10. Arizona, I mean, I think it'll be tough, but that interesting, I'm not exactly sure. We'll see. All right, next we have number 2 seeded Texas versus number 5 seeded Georgia. What do we think?
Well, in this game, it's really hard to beat a team twice in one season, maybe even 3 times if it gets down to it in the college football playoff. But in this case, Georgia won the first one, but for Texas, the ability of tackle Kelvin Banks will be crucial against the dynamic pass rushing duo of Jalen Walker and Michael Williams. I mean, sure, his backup played well in his absence against Nick Gordon and some talented A&M pass rushers, but that matchup is, to me, what is going to decide the outcome of this game. But I will take Texas in this one, 17-14.
I mean, that's a reasonable score. This game is just, it really is too close to even have an ounce of confidence in a prediction. It's just one of these games where you're seeing on the screen the W for Georgia at 30-15 way back when makes me want to say they'll do it again. But also, how many overtimes against Georgia Tech?
I was just going to mention that.
UMass was way too close for way too long. I'm pretty sure that it was a relatively close game, but at the end of the first half, at the end of the first half, Georgia started to pull away, but UMass had a 14-7 lead at one point. That's just unacceptable. And as much as I don't think that Quinn Ewers is that great, I do think that this Texas Longhorns team is just that talented.
Oh, God. I was debating this all week. I said Georgia because, well, listen, Carson Beck knows what he's doing. He has a plan. I witnessed it when he faced Georgia Tech. He knew what he was doing. But even though it was a really unacceptable game against Georgia Tech, they still won.
To be honest, it made me wonder while watching the game, does Georgia even really care about this game? Because sure, it's a rivalry game, but their fate their fate is decided next week against their opponent in the SEC championship. So I imagine they don't give their full effort. They'll do their best in this one, but Texas is going to come out of this one.
I personally put a high score for them because I think offense is just going to go ham this entire game. And I was just kind of piggybacking off the Georgia Tech game. Maybe Georgia's going to let them score like they did last game, so I gave it a 42-40. Don't come at me. I know both teams are very tough. Texas is ahead, but can Georgia beat them? Can Texas beat them? We shall see.
I feel like this game runs through number 16 for Texas, both Arch Manning and Michael Taff on defense. Arch Manning, I feel like we'll get snaps in this game. We saw him have a touchdown last week, and Michael Taff has been everywhere for this Longhorns defense, and he is playing for so much more than football.
Right. I mean, I think I want Texas on this. I mean, I think they're out for revenge. I think that Georgia's their only loss of the year. So they definitely don't want to succumb to them again, obviously. There's so many factors in this game, obviously, with the games afterwards and, where all the standings lie. But I had it close. I think it could go overtime. I think it will go to overtime. I think it's going to be so close. I put 30-27.
How
Texas.
many overtimes?
Right, can we beat the record?
Makes me wonder why teams don't go for two after the first overtime if they're the second team to get the ball.
Right. Okay. We have to move on to number 8 seed SMU versus number 17 Clemson.
Well, you may think that the game against South Carolina may be a little bit of a worry for Clemson, but again, this is a game that really did not matter to them, even with it being a rivalry, because their fate in the ACC championship game depended on Miami losing to Syracuse, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. What do you think? What score are we giving it?
Well, it's gonna. I feel like this is gonna be really the first test for Kevin Jennings and that Mustang offense against historically one of the better defensive programs in the nation for the last 10 years. So, but I just somehow feel like Clemson's gonna pull out some magic out of their hat and win it. Something like 20-17.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree.
Kind of me too.
I agree.
SMU has played plenty of people. They have played BYU insanely close. Again, a team we thought was going to be in the CFP. Mm-hmm. They beat a ranked Louisville at the time they faced them. They beat a ranked Pitt at the time they faced them. Mm-hmm. And now Clemson, I really don't give much credit to. I don't really see a reason why to give credit to them because I don't think Dabo Swinney is that great of a coach. I don't think that Cade Klubnik is that great of a quarterback. And SMU there are two teams in college football that are undefeated in conference play.
Right.
And it's SMU and Oregon.
Yep.
These teams are that good. I don't think this will be a problem for SMU. I think it might be in the range of 30-17.
Love it. Okay. We're rapid firing from now on.
I agree. SMU, where the heck did they come from? They just got into the playoffs. They went up there, and they're undefeated. So, of course, you're going to think they win. Will they surprise? Who knows? I gave it a 38-28 because I think SMU is very capable of beating Clemson.
Yeah, I did opposite. I do think Clemson's going to come out with the win. I gave it 32-25. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Now for, I guess, what we care about the most here, obviously, we have number 1 Oregon and number 3 Penn State. I mean, I think let's give our scores and then we can debrief. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to take Oregon 26, Penn State 20.
Okay.
My heart is telling my brain something completely different.
It's not that hard.
My heart wants it to be 28-24 Penn State.
We're very similar.
But Oregon is probably going to win something like 21-17.
Don't lose faith in this team.
I'm
Don't
going,
lose faith in
I'm
Penn
going,
State.
So please.
The defense is good in Penn State. It's the offense that needs to be worked on.
The first half offense, I beg,
First half.
develop
Yes.
something.
They would.
I don't think we
promise you
can
they
go
will.
into it slow. We don't have the time for that.
We
Yeah.
have been masking our offense so much throughout the season, like up to Ohio State, up to USC. We hit it against USC. Look at what happened when we had a planned attack.
Right.
It went well.
Yeah.
Why can't we do the same thing with Oregon?
I mean, we could. I gave it a 26-24 Penn State. I know Minnesota a little outrageous of the score, but I think Penn State is going to come strong with an offense. Oregon, I mean, there's been teams that have been undefeated for a full season. Like the Patriots one season, they were undefeated, boom, they lost. And yeah, and now Oregon's undefeated. Maybe they'll lose, and that'll be
We don't.
we
win
have a
much
parade in
anymore.
the
Give me this
streets.
one.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have faith also. I went 24-20 Penn State. I think it'll be a little bit lower. I do think defense is going to do a good job. I mean, obviously, Penn State's going to have to get going. I want to have faith in them, so that's what I have.
Abdul.
Okay, lastly, we're going to move on to what's happening tonight with Thursday Night Football. We have 2 of the NFC top teams facing off. We have the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. What do we think?
Well, it's going to be really challenging for Detroit, especially on the defensive side of the ball where they have so many injuries they suffered the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's going to come back to bite them against Green Bay, who has really talented offensive skill makers. But I'd like Green Bay to target Jaden Reed most often, but with the injured outside corners, maybe take a deep shot or two to Christian Watson.
Interesting.
You know, I feel like so many injuries for the Lions, all that. I still feel like they're going to win. I understand how good Jordan Love is. I think that they're really good. I think Xavier McKinney, former Giant, is so good. I miss you. But Sonic, Knuckles, the goofball at quarterback, and a guy with Egyptian gods for a name is kind of unfair. Oh yeah, and Sam Laporta and Penei Sewell, who will score a touchdown.
I predicted that Sewell would throw for a touchdown to even another tackle in that Thanksgiving game, but didn't happen.
Listen.
I wouldn't put it past Dan Campbell.
Listen, Lions, just because they have injuries doesn't mean they're going to lose. They're 11-1 right now. They have the same record as the Chiefs. They've had a fabulous season since last year. And Jared Goff, he should be very proud of himself. And I will say it could be Green Bay Packers are ahead by the second half. Not the second half, sorry, the end of the first half. I think Lions could come back. The score could be tight. I'm going to say the score is tight for this one, and Lions win.
Yeah, I agreed. I think it's going to be tight. I also have the Lions. I mean, the Lions are NFC North. I think it's like the hardest division in football right now. So I think ultimately, despite the injuries, they will come out on top.
Remember when it was the NFC East? That was a fun time.
Miss it.
Do we have score predictions for that?
I'm going to say 24-20 Green Bay.
I think this is going to be fairly straight. 4 touchdowns and a field goal for the Lions, 31-21.
You guys have scores. Oh my God. Ooh. You know what? 28-24 Lions.
Yeah, 27-24 Lions also. I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight, though. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to 360 Sports. Make sure to come back next week to see all of our shows again. Thanks for watching.